Joining me today is Colleen Cooley, and I'm excited because Colleen and I have gone back and forth for I feel like a few years now, and
Yes.
now the time has arrived. And so, welcome, Colleen.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me, Becca. Thanks for reaching out every so often.
of course. This is exciting. Okay, so I want to start with what color feels good for you today? What color are you drawn to today?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think today, this morning, I went for about 7 mile run, and I was wearing a pink thermal top. Um,
Hmm.
and then right now, for those listening, I'm wearing kind of a reddish colored um, light jacket as well. So I think maybe the reds and pinks are drawing me in today.
Any
Yeah.
particular reason those colors besides wearing them, seeing them?
No, I think just the landscape also reminds me
Mm,
of where I grew up, the pink, orange colored sand out there on the Navajo Nation where I grew up. So it's really fine sand. So
mm,
that's what it's kind of reminding me of today.
And you're in Arizona, is that right?
Yeah, I'm based down in southeast Arizona right now, so just east of Tucson.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yep, so I
Okay.
live out here with my partner.
Okay. And when you are on the trails there, what is the, are there trails really close to your house? Like, can you go straight out to a trail?
They're not necessarily trails, more what we're surrounded by um, different waterways. They're not always
Mhm.
flowing unless there's rain in the
Mhm.
distance. So, where my partner and I currently live, we're at the confluence of Hot Springs Wash and the San Pedro River. And we're running sometimes on the roads, on the dirt roads, and then we will get down into the washes and riverbeds.
Mhm.
So we're running on just kind of different terrain. Some of it's rocky, some of it's sandy, some of it is two-track roads. So it's a
Mhm.
mixture.
Okay. And when you set out on your running or hiking trails, is there a particular experience that you typically have when you're on a trail or on a hike or on a walk?
I think for me, it's really just connecting to the landscape. I might
Mm,
have an idea for distance in mind, but that's not really the goal for me when I get outside. It's more just taking that time to connect with the landscape.
mm,
Especially living in the Sonoran Desert, it's very diverse for those that have been in this region before. Very diverse in the species of animals and wildlife and plants, and the
mm,
landscape as well. So I'm always curious, even the tiniest, I've really gotten into observing the insects,
mhm.
depending on the season. And so I'm really curious where that brings what is the word? I'm really curious about and fascinated by the little insects that might not be observed very often in this
Yeah,
area. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I think for me, it's just really just just being out there. I'm really thankful and fortunate to be able to just walk
Mm,
outside my home right now and just be able to
mhm.
walk. I know some folks that might not have access to that easily, especially living in the cities. It might take a little bit to get to a space that you feel connected to.
Right.
So I'm really fortunate to be here where
Mm,
it's pretty quiet. And mostly what I see are, sometimes the animals, the javelina. Occasionally I will see, actually, I think twice I've run into shoot, it's not iguanas, it's the Gila monsters. So they're pretty
Yes.
rare. Yeah, they're
Yes.
pretty rare to see, but I've seen them twice now out here in the last couple
Wow.
of years. So it's really neat
Okay.
to see the
Yeah.
out there. They're I know they're all watching me.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And I saw recently, and I don't know how recent it was that it actually happened, but the water flowing through the area where you live,
Yes.
that does not happen very often, but recently
Oh,
has occurred.
yeah, most likely when it rains upstream. So the San Pedro is unique because it runs from south to north.
Hmm.
And the nearest town is Benson along the
Okay.
I-10 interstate. And so the water flows or the river flows through that town as well. So if
Mm.
it's raining a lot upstream, that will come down to our place or close to our place. It could take 1 to 2 days to get to us.
Wow.
So that was actually, I was really surprised by that because it had rained, I believe, 3 days prior.
Okay. Wow. And
Yeah.
it takes that time. And then
Yeah.
does it pass? Does it come through and pass quickly? Like, do you know what I mean? Or does it linger for a little while?
It will linger for a little bit depending on how much it rained. Um,
Okay.
yeah. hmm
Okay.
hmm
And speaking of connecting with the land and being with the land, there was something that I read, and it was only briefly mentioned, but it's a story about your umbilical cord and what life was like for you growing up. Would you speak about that? I haven't heard of this before.
Yeah, so for those that follow me on Instagram, sometimes I'll put out, short poems or writings on my Instagram with photos. And so I think you're referring to a time I was back home
Hmm.
in November of last year, 2025. So I was home visiting my parents, and essentially my goal is to move back there or, have a part-time home there. And so I'm always drawn back to being on the landscape where I grew up. And so in Navajo tradition, and I'm not speaking for all Navajo people, we're very diverse in our upbringings, our faith, our what we believe in. And so, but for my family, my parents, when each of us was born, I have 6 siblings. Each of us is born, and my parents decided to put my umbilical cord somewhere, probably on the landscape there. So that kind of ties us back to the land. And I think that's why there's um, I think a connection or something inside of me pulling me back and wanting to be back home as well, to be on the landscape, to grow, not to grow, but to build a home out there as well. And so that's one of my goals in the hopefully next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, I've always had a connection or that tie-in with the landscape back at home
That's beautiful.
because of that.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. And that's exciting to think like in the next 5 or so years you're going to return.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
definitely.
beautiful.
I mean, I
That's
return when I can to go visit with family, but more build a structure and,
yeah.
connect back to my community and with my parents, my family, and just the I keep seeing different workshops and different opportunities out there on the reservation in terms of like weaving or,
Hmm.
people doing food sovereignty workshops. There's so many cool things happening, and I'm excited to be more involved in that.
Yeah. Okay. So that was one of the things early on. I think that it's probably 2 years now when I first reached out to you. I
Yes.
was like, Colleen, there is so much I have to talk to you about. And
Yes.
so now I have in my head, I have this list of, okay, a writer, your photography, your connection with youth, your travel, your building, your baking So I'm listing all the things I want to talk to you about, and I don't think we're going to get to all of them today, but you're
Mhm.
baking, you're cooking, you as an educator, you as a facilitator, you as a guide, you as a trail runner. Like
Yeah.
they're not that you are in any kind of box, but you are so expansive in how you show up in the world. And so now my dilemma is what direction to go because there are so many things. So I think my whole well, one of the things you had talked about was your poetry and your the pictures. Have you always been drawn toward writing and I guess toward photography as well and combining the two?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've always been drawn to photography since I was younger, starting with the disposable cameras.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
And then processing, having the film be processed.
yes.
And yeah, so that those were the days.
Right? Because you never knew what it was going to look like. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
So, and eventually I got one of those point and shoot cameras, so I would take that with me. Currently, I have another Canon point and shoot camera, but my partner purchased a really nice professional camera that we could definitely use out here. I just haven't
Mm-hmm.
taken it out with me when I'm walking because we get a lot of birds and like I was
Mm-hmm.
saying, I like to zoom in on the insects and the bugs
Yeah.
out there as well. So I think I'm not sure when writing or poetry came into the mix. And, with social media and Instagram or Facebook, I started to put the two together. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
inspired to share some of my words, I'll do that on Instagram. But now I have my own personal website, so I try to put some of that on my website as well. And I've tried to put my photography and writing out there too
Yeah.
in
Good.
art shows or if there's a chance to share that in a different space, then I try to take those opportunities as well. So,
Good. Good.
yeah.
Would they ever turn into a book? Do you
Oh,
desire that?
I don't know. Maybe like a collection of, yeah, maybe a collection of poetry and poems
Yeah.
written could go
Yeah.
into a short book or something, but I haven't
Yeah.
thought about it in that way. It's just,
Yeah.
it's, it comes at me in at different times. It's
Okay.
not what I'm necessarily working on right now. It
Yeah.
just depends on what I'm inspired by.
Okay. And your pictures go with the words often? Like, do you have a picture that goes with the words, or do the words come and then the picture comes later? Or how does that look?
Yeah, I think it depends if
Okay.
I'm inspired by
Yeah.
like I was maybe being back at home in Shanto where I grew up, sometimes I'm inspired by that and I putting words to that.
Yeah.
Or if I'm just writing a post or something, I have some photos to go along with it. But sometimes not necessarily doesn't have to go with the photo. I think it's just
Okay.
in my it's just part of who I am and what I want to share.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just words.
Yeah. I appreciate that you put it
Yeah.
out there. I appreciate that you allow the inspiration and then say yes and create.
Hmm.
I think that's a beautiful offering. I
Oh, thank you.
I I love that.
Thank you.
Um, okay. So now I'm getting seriously, Colleen. Okay. Okay. I want to get to okay. 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 So I'm going to start with it because I want to make sure I hit this. You started a fundraiser for Rising Hearts. So I'm
Mhm.
going to jump to that. That's connected with running. Your intention was to run 40 miles on the ancestral homelands of the O'odham, the Pascua Yaqui, the San Carlos Apache, the Hopi, and the Zuni.
Mhm.
Okay. And then so are you still in the midst of fundraising?
No, the fundraiser just closed on
Okay.
January 31st, so it ran
Okay.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to throw out there for people to donate anyway. Can you
Yes.
speak to the what Rising Hearts and then what drew you to that particular fundraiser?
Yeah, for those listening, my birthday was on January 18th, and prior to that, I was thinking I wanted to do something meaningful for my 40th birthday. And back in, I think, November, December, I told my partner, I want to run 40 miles or
Mm,
do something, inspiring,
mhm,
and also donate or do something to give back to an
mm,
organization. So I put the two and two together. I was originally going to run 40 miles, run, walk 40 miles total on my birthday, but I decided to only do 25 and then continue the rest of the mileage throughout that week of my birthday
mm.
week, which I'm glad I did.
Yeah,
I think
that's a lot.
I could have done 40 miles. It would just I would be chasing the daylight, start
Yeah,
in the dark, maybe ending in the dark because I've never gone that distance before.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not an ultra marathon runner or have never ran a marathon before. So
Hmm.
25 miles was a nice distance and
Yeah,
to get it done in about 6 hours time frame.
good work.
Yeah, I decided to also do a fundraiser in conjunction with my run because, as I mentioned, I wanted to do something meaningful, and I chose Rising Hearts because I I'm inspired by the work that Jordan Whetstone has done with this organization
Mm-hmm.
for ever since she started it.
Yeah.
And I'm one of their athlete advocates, and I was since 2021. And I think they've just really been instrumental in my running journey. I had never run a race prior to 2020. And I, you know, COVID happened or started in 2020, and there were a number of virtual races that started during that
Mm-hmm.
time. And so that was one of the ones I participated in. Rising Hearts had hosted I think it was in October for the Indigenous Peoples Day was my
Mm-hmm.
very first race that had taken, that I had participated in. And
Okay.
so just hearing all the stories from the different runners and people that are part of that group, and then meeting a lot of other indigenous or non-indigenous, I mean both, um, however you identify yourself. I was just started, following all these different people, um, that are running for healing, running for their mental health, running for a cause.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I wanted to, at some point, fundraise for Rising Hearts. It was just a matter of when,
Right.
because I know they provide those opportunities. You can become a charity bib runner.
Mm-hmm.
You can, you know, sign up for a race and support them in some way. They'll support you. Rising Hearts has really been instrumental, providing access and opportunities for um, a lot of folks to
Yeah.
participate in these bigger races as well, marathons, even the Western states as well.
Right.
So yeah, and I think just yeah, I could say so many other things about Rising
Mm-hmm.
Hearts, but they're an Indigenous-led organization. They're amplifying the voices of, my voice, other people's voices that are traditionally not, out there,
Right.
in the media. So,
Yeah.
in what, and also doing it through storytelling, doing it through community building, through doing it through these kind of running events or opportunities as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm so thankful for also all the people that donated to the fundraiser. I was able to surpass my goal.
Good.
So I'm excited about that.
Yay. I love that. Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Rising Hearts.
Mhm.
And yes, people, check it out if you're not familiar. And please donate. Keep it going. We need
Definitely.
all of these beautiful organizations. that are elevating people and good, like good things. That's good.
Yes.
Okay, so Colleen, you've spent time in Nepal. You
Mm.
hiked to the base camp of Everest. You have
Yes.
taught, okay. I just want to pause at that because we're going to come back to it. But
Okay.
wow, you taught English in Mongolia. You built an Earthship in Uruguay, and um, there you what else? Oh, I'm on the back of my sheet. You've been an educator and a guide and a mentor for the Native Teen Guides and Training Program. I
Mhm.
love that. Um, okay, and then I want to get to time on the river. So first of all, because I just have all those things, Colleen, I'm telling you, this is what I'm talking about. Like I remember like, hey Colleen, I really want to have you on my
Yes.
podcast. I know, okay. So first of all, your experience in Nepal, what was that like for you?
It was incredible. I thank you to Jalen with Native Women's Wilderness. She was the
Mm,
one that invited me to be part of this journey alongside nine other Indigenous women to hike up to the base camp of Everest. Or if you're over there, they refer to it as Sagar Martha.
mm,
Um, and so it was nice to go along with other Indigenous women to connect with them and go through this experience with them. And it was very, how would you say it? Whenever I travel, I'm always finding different ways, let's see, different um, I'm always interested in the culture and ways that there's similarities, I guess, finding some similarities with my own culture.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I started seeing some of that as we got higher each day.
mm,
So the Sherpa, they're the ones living higher up in the mountains. And so we would stay in tea houses, they call it, tea
mm,
houses along the way. And this journey took about 12, I think it was about 12 days up and
mm.
back.
Okay.
And I noticed, they had fry bread there, but they call it something else. And they had a
Mm,
stew that was similar to a dumpling stew that we make in our Navajo culture as well. They were burning juniper
mm,
outside the homes, outside the tea houses, and we burned juniper as well. We used the ash and the juniper ash for blue corn mush. So I
mm,
started seeing some of those similarities, which was really neat. Um, and so I think for me, my experience definitely, there's some similarities and we went through the journey together, but my experience might be a little different than the other woman that went through this experience as well. Because I'm always trying to find those little connections and
mm-hmm,
just appreciating I mean, oh my gosh, if you've ever been anywhere in that area along the Himalayas, oh my gosh, the mountains are just incredible.
mm-hmm.
I I don't, you just have to see it. You just have
Yeah.
to see it to experience it. They just blew me away. And but I definitely am drawn to go back
Okay.
and experience it again but from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot to say there, but I'm just thankful that I had the opportunity to go there.
Mm,
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
then what took you to Mongolia to teach English? How did
Yeah, so yeah, well, one of the reasons I wanted to go to Mongolia again is connecting and finding those similarities with my own culture. I kept hearing
mm,
stories from other Navajo folks that I knew that are Navajo people and the Mongolian people, there's some connection there culturally. And I wanted to find out what that was. And so that was my reason for initially going. But I wanted to do something more than just visiting as a
Yeah,
tourist. I wanted
yeah.
to find an opportunity to maybe volunteer or do something in the country to, I don't know, give back or
Mhm.
make it meaningful to go to the country rather than just exploring.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found this
Mm,
English camp in a small village known as Saksai, and Mongolia, the western side, the very, very western side of Mongolia, their culture and language is different, and they're known as Kazakhs,
mm,
Kazakh community. They have a different language, they have a different culture. They also live and set up um, gers, they call it ger, Ger,
mm.
yurts.
Oh, okay.
Also, but they're slightly different than Mongolian yurts. And this opportunity came up, and I had seen this opportunity to teach English there. And Marinelle Jesus is the founder of the camp, and I had been following her work. She's known as Brown Gal Trekker
Mm,
on, I think, social media. She might
okay.
be more well known as that. So I was following her for a little bit. I saw this opportunity to go there and do this. So I said, okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And my partner said, let's do it. Let's make it happen. So we signed up for the teaching part of it. We were there for 4 weeks in one village, and it was incredible. The hospitality, uh,
Mm,
the people, just the quietness. Oh my gosh, the I think that's what we enjoyed the most. There was no planes at all overhead the entire
mm.
4 weeks. We
Wow.
and no sounds of traffic. I mean, this is a small, small community. There's still, cars and people driving through there. There's little markets there, but it was just very quiet
Mm,
and the sky was amazing.
mm.
But yeah, that was what drew me to Mongolia.
Okay.
So we experienced both the Kazakh culture and the Mongolian culture.
Okay.
And I did find a few similarities there with the language, and um, some of the food. But I'm interested in going back because
Yeah.
that was just, I think, the last week we were there. I made those little connections, and I'm
Okay.
more intrigued
Yeah.
to go
Well,
back and really, really make those connections if I can when I go back and
yeah.
be really intentional about it.
As you were sharing all of that, just this idea of like documentary, because I've never seen, at least it's not in my awareness, but I've never seen anything that exists from that perspective of like how the sameness, similarities in such different locations.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? Would that be something you would ever, a direction you would ever go, like documentary style? Not necessarily film, maybe film, I don't know. Does that sound interesting to you? What do you feel like?
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to do a film about it, but I think definitely finding a way to share that, sure.
Yeah,
Maybe through photographs or
yes,
writing.
yes,
But
something.
also I want to talk again to the people I know that have been to Mongolia and
Yeah,
like ask like what now that I know and I've been there, I want to maybe just do a little bit more research before I
yeah,
go back.
yeah,
And eventually I hope I can take my parents there because they would
okay,
fit right in.
yeah. Oh,
I
I that's
mean,
so cool.
Mongolia looks for me when before I went, I was like, oh, it's just a very barren landscape and rolling hills, which is true, but they actually have a lot of water in the country.
Mm,
There's little streams and creeks and rivers and huge lakes, massive lakes, in the
mm,
country. And which makes sense because they also have a lot of animals. Each family, I mean, they have, one family could have 200 heads of sheep, you know.
Wow.
They
Wow.
their whole country, as far as what we saw when we were there, just, going across the landscape, there's no fences for the most
Mm.
part. So
Mm.
no fences alongside the road. So the traffic jams you get are the animals crossing the
Ah,
road.
that's funny.
So there's horses and yaks and sheep, and so there's just so many of them. We're just blown away by it.
Wow.
And yeah, just going back quickly to the camp itself. So my partner and I, we were two of four teachers, so it was four teachers
Mm-hmm.
total,
Mm-hmm.
and we taught students between the ages of 9 and 15. And I
Mm-hmm.
had the youngest group of students. And so I was paired with a local teacher, but I think I had the most eager bunch because
Mm.
they're still learning and they're really
Yeah.
eager to learn some English. And there was, none of them spoke English very well. So it was helpful to have a translator there as too in class.
Yeah.
And where we taught was inside the ger, the yurts. So that was
Okay.
really neat. I really enjoyed that. We all sat on the ground, had one whiteboard, and I would write, the date on there and, just very basic, going through numbers, the
Mm-hmm.
alphabet, the sounds of it, them introducing themselves, how old they
Mm.
are. We did a lot of songs and games with the kids as well.
Mm.
So it was really new experience for me because I had never taught in that kind of setting or put lesson plans together.
Yeah.
So it was only 4 hours a day, but it was exhausting.
Oh, yeah, I bet. I mean, that's a lot. Brain,
Mhm.
body. I mean, your
Mhm.
brain is doing so much work.
Yes,
And
yes.
so that's a huge energy expenditure.
Yeah.
So are you, do you still teach in some capacity right now?
No, no, not right
Okay.
now.
Do you
Mm.
want to? Do you want to move in that direction at all?
I would like to, yeah, I think I would like to continue teaching, but in a non-traditional setting, like
Yeah.
maybe if that's a workshop or
Yeah.
being involved in programs like the Native Teen Guide and Training Program and doing education in that sense, not necessarily in a classroom setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
Mhm.
Um, and so what was your, let's see, because you were a leader with the youth. Were you one of their leaders?
The
Um,
Native Teen Program or which one?
yes,
Okay.
yes, the Native Teen Guide and Training
hmm
program. You were one of the leaders. What was that like for you to be able to lead? How many youth did you lead?
I wasn't the leader. I was amongst 4, 5 other Native American educators, guides.
Okay.
So the program itself, it's immersing Native American teens between the ages of 13 and 17,
Mm-hmm.
and they're coming to the San Juan River in southern Utah to experience the landscape and then
Okay.
do some canyoneering. And we have outside educators come in, talk about plants or geology. And one year, there's a local Navajo woman that lives in Bluff, and she led a writing workshop. So they experienced being on land first for about a day and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then we take them the 5 days, for about 5 days, we take them on the river.
Okay.
And the idea is to have them be unplugged from their digital world and
Mm-hmm.
connect to the landscape,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's connecting or reconnecting. A lot of the participants in the past have been identify as Navajo, but we've had Hopi, we have Zuni, we've had other tribes that have participated in the program as well. And so it's really getting them connected to the landscape and each other, the
Mm,
applications that we get from the kids. Most of these kids are living in the cities, on the outskirts of the reservation. So, like Flagstaff, Phoenix, Albuquerque, Salt Lake, Denver,
okay.
And so they're really eager to have that connection to their peers that look like them, that are Native
Mm,
American, that they can connect to, that they
yeah.
can joke around with.
Yeah.
And they don't have to explain what that joke is, for example.
Right.
Or it's even some of them, they know their language, and so they're comfortable speaking their language
Yeah.
in that setting.
Yeah.
So for us as the educators, we're showing them what does it look like to be a guide, but also what are some of the things that we have to face as Native people. We also get into talking about water rights. We talk about where we are in the landscape, the Colorado Plateau, um, and we also get them to learn about safety skills, on
Mm,
the land and on the river. And really, some of the kids start to feel more confident, and,
yeah.
and we start to see who some of those natural leaders are.
Hmm.
And some of them getting them out of their comfort zone too.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
as so yeah, it's a mix of things, but they're really I can see the transformation from day one to day seven.
Yeah.
I really love seeing that evolve throughout the trip.
That's huge. The
Hmm.
word that comes to mind, just kind of the theme, not that we ever have to have a theme, but the word empower. I feel when you
Yes,
move through
empower.
the word as an empowerer,
Hmm.
through the world as an empowerer, I think that's very powerful because you're not doing things for people. You're doing things with people to help
Yes,
elevate, to help
yes.
people grow and expand and learn and tune in.
Hmm.
That's I'm getting chills. That's
No.
huge. That's so important. Keep doing it. It's so
Oh.
good. It's so good, Colleen. I love it because that's the long term. That's the long-term investment because that's going to expand beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I love that so much. And then I want I want to get well, first thing you helped. Okay. Oh man, I'm out. I'm running on time. Okay. I'm gonna have you on another time. Now I need to narrow. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm gonna go towards your baking because I've seen all your baking and your cooking. Do
Hmm.
you do you love to bake and to cook? Is that enjoyable for you?
Yes, it definitely is. And I've really been doing a lot of experimentation lately.
Yeah. I was gonna say it
Um,
seems like a very creative thing. The way that from my
yes.
perspective, it seems very creative and like uh a creative outlet.
Mm.
Yeah. How do I
Yeah,
say?
I think that's a good way to put it. I I think the creativity is shown through my food, through my writing, um, and some other avenues, photography.
Yes.
Of course, I'm interested in a lot of other things I would like to learn. But yeah, I think more so in the last maybe 4 to 5 years, I've really been experimenting with food. And that could look like baking, or just making sauces, or just trying different types of food too. Because when I grew up, I was really picky, as a lot of
Mhm.
young, I think kids are when they're still learning more about different types of food and flavors, also influenced from their parents or whoever's feeding them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember go to Pizza Hut and my parents would order what is it called? The pizza that has everything on it, all the topping.
Oh, Supreme something
Yes, supreme
maybe?
pizza.
Okay.
I would be picking off the olives and the green
You took
peppers.
everything off the Supreme. That's
But
funny.
now I would love that kind of pizza, right? I would
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
toppings on it. So yeah, I think just the learning more about how to spice your food or what the different flavors are, or especially for this year, we haven't really mentioned it, or I haven't really mentioned it too much on social media or on blogs, but my partner and I are trying to be single-use plastic free this year. And so
Yeah.
I think that's even expanding more into the food realm of making, I can't just, I can still buy a can of beans, but um, for example, it would just be easier also to put beans in a Instant Pot.
Right.
It's
Right.
actually really easy. I just did it about a week ago. I put a whole pot of garbanzo beans on. It cooked for less than an hour and
Yeah.
plenty to make hummus or to make a vegetarian dish or even a chickpea curry.
Yeah.
So yeah, just really experimenting. And I follow a lot of food content on social media, so that's where I
Uh-huh.
get some inspiration as well.
Yeah.
Um, you know, all types of food and backgrounds. I mean, it's indigenous, it's, Thai, it's
Mhm.
American, it's so many different types. So I would love to just travel the world and try different types of food.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you lean into that.
Yeah. So
That's
anyways,
very,
yeah, I essentially the baking can be tricky for
yeah.
sure, depending on the type of oven, depending on temperature. I mean, for the most
Yes.
part, our house is mostly glass, so my partner has said we should start making sourdough bread, but I know sourdough, when you first start it, you have to keep the starter at a certain
Yes.
temperature, and
Yes.
it's too
That's
cold
tricky.
in our house.
Yeah. That's tricky. The temperature part with
Mhm.
baking, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's my struggle. I will do the exact, everything exact, and then I bake it, and I'm like,
Yep.
what is going on? Yes,
Yep.
I know what you're talking about. Have you ever created something like with all of your experimentation, have you come upon something that you're like, I just invented that kind of deal? You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like where you've
mhm.
brought in bits and pieces from everywhere and you're like, whoa, I've never had this before.
Maybe there was one recipe. It's a soup, and
Mhm.
it's a mixture of things. It has chickpeas, kale, onions, carrots, some of the basic ingredients. And
Mhm.
you can add quinoa to it, you can add potatoes to it. Depending on what I have on hand, it doesn't always have the same ingredients, but it's a lemony soup, so you're adding some lemon squeeze, fresh
Mhm.
squeezed lemon in there,
Mhm.
vegetable broth, some turmeric. And so that one comes out, I think, pretty good. I've made it a few times. But it changes depending on what I have on hand.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Would you ever record yourself making your food? Have you ever
That's
thought about
funny
that?
because my partner Kai has been asking to
Okay,
do,
that's two people, and now I'm getting chills, Colleen. Maybe just get curious about that.
yeah. So he actually has filmed somebody in the past and has made a video. He's also a filmmaker, and so we'll see. Maybe
Okay. Okay, so then I had another thing that came through. So you have a blog.
I
Do you have
do
a blog?
have my own personal website, and I do have some recipes on there.
Okay. Would you ever do like travel blog? Go to all the countries, all the places around the world and blog and have a I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like Travel Channel film. You just have somebody following you around and you're just doing your thing and it's just
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Love that.
These
I
are
would,
the
yes, yes, I would love that. I mean, I started writing, well, I have one story started for Mongolia. So it was when we were traveling to get to the country. So there's one
yes.
story that I've started on my blog.
Okay.
and I just need to keep
Okay.
writing. I wrote everything down about our time there. It's all in a notebook, but it needs to
Okay.
go online now.
Yes. Okay. This is exciting, especially since that's something that you would love to do, joy. We're
Yes,
elevating that. And
yes.
then you have a partner who is in film. Oh
Mm.
my gosh, Colleen, I'm excited about this. This is
So many ideas.
so
Yes.
many ideas. Yes. And I'm excited for which one comes next for you. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's so much, there's so much, there's so much, right? There's
Yes,
so
there
many
is.
possibilities.
Yes.
And that's what's going to change the world. That's what's going to elevate the us into this high vibe, is that people doing the things that they love, empowering other people. That's what changes the world. That's what changes the world. So,
Yeah, and I've been inspired by so many people myself,
yeah.
my own mother, my sister, my father, family members, of course,
Yes.
and mentors I've had along the way. Now, people, I mean, Jordan is one of them, of course.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
there's just so many amazing people out there and have so many talents and empowering other people and providing these opportunities. Um, so I wouldn't be here today without all these other people that have
Of
provided
course.
that same inspiration and mentorship along the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. And you are doing that for others. It's
Yeah.
that it keeps going. It keeps
Yes.
going.
Yes.
Ah, this, so what's that?
I said yes. And you
Yes.
as well. I know you're also inspiring and empowering other people out there as well. So,
Well, thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, it's a collaborative. It's a collaborative. And if we can just keep having all of these people doing these things, that it's just like that's what's going to change.
Mhm.
I do believe that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Colleen, where can people find you? What if you feel comfortable sharing your website and where they can find you and maybe connect with you? Where can I send them?
Yeah, definitely. A couple ways on Instagram. If you're not already following me, it's C Coolio. So
Okay.
CCOOLIO number two.
Okay.
C Coolio 2 on Instagram. And then my website is my first name, Colleen, Colleen, Cooley, my last name, COOLEY.com. So just ColleenCooley.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
And
exciting.
then
Hey,
from
yep.
my personal website, there's a link to my business website. So people can also find me there and see what I'm up
Okay.
to on the business side.
Okay. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
This is great. This is exciting. Hey,
Mhm.
Colleen, you are a big deal. Keep up the good work because it's powerful and it's expansive and you're creating ripples.
Mm.
And yay for being a person who empowers.
Oh,
We need you. So good
thank you.
job.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we were able to finally make this happen. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed the conversation.
me too. This is so good. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and follow the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep showing up and remember, you are a big deal.